life ain't so private anymore. And for crime fighters, that's a good thing. The FBI has now taken cell phone tracking to the next level with a system called C.A.S.T. It stands for Cellular Analysis Survey Team, and my next guest knows it well. Tracy Walder is a former special agent with the FBI and former staff operations officer at the C.I.A.'s Counterterrorism Center. She's used cell phone towers to locate suspects in the United States and overseas, including terrorists. So, Tracy, for lack of a better description, it's almost like if you're a monkey swinging from trees, you leave the one cell phone tower just as soon as the next one comes into closer approximation. And that's effectively what your phone is doing as you move from tower to tower as well. Shouldn't we therefore know where Ethan and Xana were if they had phones on them, and I'm guessing they did, in that 4-hour and 45-minute block where apparently there just doesn't seem to be a timeline?
First of all, thank you for having me, Ashley. And it's funny, I just used this exact technology actually to arrest 3 fugitives 2 summers ago. And so it works. And one of the things I've always said about this particular crime is I am very shocked that we haven't solved it because of the propensity of 20-year-olds to use cell phones. And so I would think that cell phone data would be very, very critical in terms of locating particularly Xana and Ethan. But on the flip side, an absence of data might also indicate a suspect as well.
So tell me a little bit about the C.A.S.T. group and how sophisticated and advanced they are. Because I've been covering trials for a long, long time, and cell phone pinging often is evidence in a trial, but then sometimes it's really questionable, and some things have been overturned. So is it getting better? Is it great? And could it really be a boon to this case?
So I think it's getting better. It has had some challenges in court, and I think any new technology is going to do that. It's going to be challenged in court. DNA was challenged in court when it first came out, and now it's really the gold standard. And I think this technology will emerge as the gold standard, because rather than really just looking at one cell phone tower, it's really geolocating the data from multiple cell phone towers, which does give a more accurate location of someone. However, it's very, very new. And so I do think that moving forward in this case, it's probably going to be extremely useful, not necessarily in bringing a suspect to trial, but in at least identifying a person of interest. I think that's going to be the most useful.
Or helping know where Ethan and Xana were in that 4-hour and 45-minute black hole. They only see them, from 8 till 9 at the Sigma Chi fraternity house, and then 1:45 a.m. they're home. So somewhere, if these kids were carrying phones. But the other question is, if this killer was really good at plying his trade and he shut off his phone, if he even had one, does your phone still emit anything? And while you're at answering that question, how about one of these, your Apple Watch? Not everybody thinks to shut off their Apple Watch.
You're absolutely right. Not everybody thinks to shut off their Apple Watch, or even if you have air tags and things of that nature, people don't forget to sort of either throw those out, put those someplace else. So yes, you have your phone off. Yes, if you're not taking off your Apple Watch, of course, that could be an issue. However, if someone's going to the trouble of doing that, my guess is that they shut everything off. And if everything's shut off, no, you're not going to get data. But I think where that could be useful, and we've used this before, particularly in locating terrorists and terrorist networks, is actually what I mentioned before, that absence of data. So if you have a phone that's been relatively active around the area, that's all of a sudden inactive for a period of 3 or 4 hours, that can actually kind of put one's antenna up and make one look a little bit deeper into that person.
30 seconds left, but if the kids had a Wi-Fi network in the house, as I am certain they must have, and the killer had been there before and had been on the Wi-Fi at some point, that phone would have automatically connected to the Wi-Fi. And police can see that, can't they? They can see if a brand new phone shows up and connects to that Wi-Fi automatically, unbeknownst to the killer, at somewhere around 3 in the morning.
They absolutely should be able to see that. And my guess is it's probably one of the first things that they did was look at Wi-Fi connections. And I noticed there's that kind of infamous picture of the no signal detected in terms of the Wi-Fi. So they obviously took it offline and then were able to get whatever accessed that Wi-Fi. So I'm 100% sure that they would have that data.
I hope so, Tracy, but I watched a question come at a press conference where a reporter asked that, and it looked like it was Greek to the officer who answered. In fact, the officer answered something like, "We're getting video in all the time in submissions," as though they absolutely had no idea what was going on. So I really hope what you're saying happened. Tracy Walder, thank you so much.